I was in one like 2-hour-long session where you're just hyperventilating for 2 hours, and some woman.
Yeah, prove it if you're an animal. Get out there and eat some bird seed.
No, this guy was doing it. Like he was. I should laugh. He was having his own release. Respect that. That's a beautiful thing. But some woman turned into a baby, and I think this other guy was like, look at that, like, turned into a wolf, and he was prowling and snorting at people, and they had to tag him, hold him down. So I wanted to think in my, I was watching this.
Oh, a South Carolina fan.
I mean, I don't see that information. That's in California as it goes. So, it's like,
yeah, if some guy is if I'm in a breathwork place and some guy's over there huffing and puffing, and then he's like, I'm gonna blow your house down or whatever. He's
blow your house
like that, like Three Little Pig in me or whatever. Yeah, I'm calling stop.
I'm calling.
Just because we're in a breathwork seminar doesn't mean you can be wolfing around and pissing in the corner or whatever.
No, I think what was interesting to me, I said, well, what if this is real? What if this guy's really, then full respect, like he's reached a pinnacle I will never reach. At the same time, this is after like 5 minutes where there's not a lot going on. So part of me was thinking,
yeah, he's just a Raiders
fan.
Yeah,
probably a little showiness.
Yeah.
I don't know what's better than a wolf. Like, I don't know who was going to come after him to try to one-up his wolfdom.
He picked a good animal.
Yeah.
I do remember that my extremities got very tight.
Yeah.
What is that? I do when I did the breath right and I had that release. I remember, and I felt so great after because it was just such a release. It felt like almost the sediment, like say if you looked through archaeologically, like through the ground and you saw like this sedimentary rock stuff that was really packed down in there. That's what it felt like. So there was like fissures in that inside of me.
Yep.
But I do remember my muscles and everything got extremely tight after a lot of the breathing.
That's 100% real, right? That's not psychosomatic. What happens is a lot of people in breath work, at least I was told, they told me, like, because I kept feeling this, my hands like turn into claws.
Yes.
You're like, what the hell is
Maybe
going
was
on?
a wolf.
And so they kept saying, like, you're reverting back to your primitive self. I was like, okay, but what's actually happening measurably to our bodies? And what I found is this is a phenomenon that is called tetany. And what happens when you overbreathe this amount, you start to lose calcium. Okay, calcium gets bound to albumin, and once that happens, you need calcium for proper nerve and muscle function. So we don't have enough calcium in order to function properly, and so things start to shut down. So at these really intense sessions, you can't open your fist as hard as you try. You can't. They turn into these claws, which is really creepy. If you don't know that this is happening, it's like you're in some cult situation where everyone's reverting to some lower level of hell and developing these claws. But this is a phenomenon that is measurable.
Tetany, it's called?
It's called tetany. The same thing happens to your toes.
Tetany?
T-E-T-A-N-Y.
It's just an I've never even heard that, but I've had that thing happen to me a couple times in breathing. Tetany is a medical condition involving sustained involuntary muscle contraction or spasms due to hyperexcitability of nerves or muscles. It often stems from electrolyte imbalance like low calcium, low magnesium, or alkalosis.
To do this on occasion is fine, right? But if you are constantly overbreathing, which is a problem that so many people suffer from, they wonder why their fingers are constantly numb or cold, why their toes are cold, right? Why they are like this. They're causing this permanent imbalance, these electrolytes in their bodies. And the body can compensate because it's going to keep you alive, but that doesn't mean it's going to keep you healthy.
Oh, I remember this. that's such a visceral thing. Try to just remember that once you did that with your hands, it brought me to so many memories. How do some of your breathwork ideas compare to like a guy like Wim Hof? Like take me, because he's a very popular figure in the breathing space, right? And he just is such a captivating figure too. And the fact that he's in the cold and he's battling something that, you know, we all want to battle something, so we all feel invigorated by his journey. And yeah, how do some of your practices compare to some of Wim Hof's practices?
Well, most of what I studied and researched and write about is this normal breathing. It's so unsexy, right? Just breathe. Oh, I want to be a super breather. But what you realize is the vast majority of people are breathing dysfunctionally. And so what I'm trying to bring awareness to, and to have people do first before they go and do crazy breathwork stuff, is to learn normal breathing. Because you're never going to be able to get a ton out of breathwork practices unless your foundation is solid. It's like you want to run a marathon. Would you just stand up and run a marathon, or would you try to train a little bit and get a proper foundation, get the right biomechanics? So that's what most of the book is about. It's because so many people are breathing dysfunctionally that they have all of these underlying issues that are tied to it, and they don't realize it. Why are they getting migraines all the time? Why is their blood pressure so high? Why are they getting all these cavities? Why does their kid have symptoms of ADHD? All of this stuff is tied to your breathing. So once you get that solid foundation, you become a nasal breather. You're able to do what you were doing. You're able to become comfortable enough with your own waist that you can relax your gut as you take a breath in, and as you exhale, it comes back, right? You can breathe these slow, low, deep breaths. You are not mouth breathing at night. You're not snoring. After all those boxes are checked, then let's bring it on. Let's go up that next rung of potential. This is what yoga was designed to do. It's never intended for sick people. It's intended for people that were normal, that were healthy, to bump you up that next rung of the ladder. And so that's what Wim does, right? A better spokesperson for breathwork. I mean, if there was ever a cult leader, he should start as kind of is a cult almost.
Yeah, there's definitely something about him that's super exciting.
I think he's done more to bring breathwork to more people on the planet than anyone else.
Yeah, you need that advertising.
You need someone that is that inspired and genuine, not someone that's trying to always sell you stuff. Like Wim wants to help people. Wim wants to see what the limits of the human body are. Wim, when you meet him, he's real. And so many other people in breathwork have hopped on the train to try to. You haven't met him?
No.
Okay. No, the guy is magnetic.
Is he really?
I absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I mean, it's free. You can feel him through the screen. You can feel him when you watch him. And you need an advertising piece for things like that. Like you need something like a shiny figure that's out there so that people can also then come and absorb your information. I mean, look at this. Dude.
Yeah.
Because dude, you know how many thick white dudes are just hiding in their freezers in the garage right now, all because of Wim Hof, you know, and forgetting to close the lid and the meat's going bad.
But people were not doing this so we knew all about these benefits, but the people training you how to breathe properly was a respiratory therapist, you know, in a hospital. And a lot of dudes don't gravitate towards that. You know, Wim is hiking up Everest barefoot with his shirt off and hanging out in ice for an hour at a time. People are like, that guy's cool. I want to be like him.
Yes, it's exciting.
And he's also the other side of this is not only is he able to bring people from a state where they're normal to become better than normal, is some research is going on right now about people with autoimmune diseases with that ice combined with breath work can help lower all of those stress hormones and help people who are caught in these vicious cycles of chronic inflammation. Some people with multiple sclerosis, you know, people with eczema and more. And this is something that's free. You got to buy a freezer, right? Put some ice in it.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's a pretty low amount of cash you need to spend up front in order to do these things. If you can't afford an ice bath, take a cold shower, right? A lot of the same benefits.
Who are some other known figures, or who are some known figures throughout history that it's documented that they've practiced breathwork and it was a big part of their lives? Do you know any?
There's so many, and if you look at ancient literature, there were all these swamis, there were all these Buddhist monks, there were all these Rinpoches that were supposedly doing things that were impossible according to our understanding of biology and medicine right now, until you bring them into a lab. And so in the 70s, they started doing this. One guy was Swami Rama. This guy who grew up in the mountains of the Himalayas, been meditating.
Swami Rama, bring him up. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's cool.
The mountains of the Himalayas go on?
Yeah, since he was 4 years old, he was trained to be a monk. And they brought him into this place called the Manager Clinic, and a Navy physicist tested to see what he could do, things that are supposed to be impossible. And he was able to flutter his heart rate on command at 300 beats per minute, on command. And then
what's a regular heart rate?
If you're healthy, 50.
And he did
50 beats
300?
per minute. Mine's probably 70, 67. 300 beats was supposed to be impossible.
Shit, he's a damn Valentine's Day at that point.
So he was able to change the temperature on the palm of his hand 11 degrees from one side to the other. One side was all flush and red, and the other was like gray and purple. And in another test, and this was reported in the New York Times, he was able to enter states of deep sleep while still being conscious and repeating everything that happened in the room around him. All of this is supposed to be impossible. He proved it, and it also establishes credence to all these other stories of these ancient monks doing this stuff. Wow. And he said the foundation of all of this was breathing. You have to start with that. Then you have to learn to meditate, and then you can do all this other stuff. But it starts with that.
Yeah, how would you even be able to do something like that?
You focus on your breath, you meditate, and I can tell you, I've seen people do things that are much crazier than that.
Like?
I've seen people do a lot of things that I don't feel at liberty to discuss because people are going to think I'm insane until I get these guys into a lab, and that's what I'm working on right now. But that looks like child's play compared to the things that I've seen people do. When you focus on your breathing, when you use your natural body to do these things that we've been doing for thousands of years, that in the last couple hundred years we've completely forgotten about.
Wow. You gotta come back then. Let's come back after that for sure. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, sometimes it can feel like everybody's got it all together in their heart. They got things figured out. They got their love life just organized to a T. Especially in February when people are slinging chocolates and Cupid's firing arrows and everybody's eyes just are lit up with little lamps of love in them. But if you don't have someone special in your life, or you don't have it all figured out, don't get wicked about it. Don't get tattered. Don't quit washing your hair. And if you need somebody to talk to help you organize some things inside of yourself so you can be a better person in a relationship or be ready for one, BetterHelp is there. BetterHelp can help you figure out what's weighing your relationships down or what's possibly keeping you from starting one. BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the United States. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Theo. That's betterhelp.com/THEO. Just in case you need some help figuring out your heart. Is pornography causing a problem in your life? Do you find yourself watching porno for longer periods of time and having trouble stopping? Is porn affecting your relationship or dating life? Well, you're certainly not alone. Watching pornography has become so commonplace today, and oftentimes men use porn to numb the pain of loneliness, boredom, anxiety, and depression. Shame and stigma prevent men from talking about these issues and getting help for them. I want to introduce you to my friend Steve. Steve is the founder of Valor Recovery, a program to help men overcome porn abuse and sexual compulsivity. Steve is a long-term sexual recovery member and has personally overcome the emotional and spiritual despair of abusing pornography and has dedicated his life to empowering men to do the same. Steve is an amazing person, and he is a close friend of mine. I mean that. Valor Recovery helps men to develop the tools necessary to have a healthier sex life. Their coaches are in long-term recovery and will be your partner, mentor, and spiritual guide to transcend these problematic behaviors. To learn more about Valor Recovery, please visit them at www.valorrecoverycoaching.com or email them at admin@valorrecoverycoaching.com. Thank you. Like, are there any presidents that focus on breathwork? You can look that up, man.
I bet Carter would be the only one that would have been cool enough to do that because he was in.
He was into health.
He put some solar panels up on the White House organic garden. You know, I doubt he would ever admit to it. You know,
Jimmy Carter put solar panels up in the White House.
Yeah, I believe we can fact check that one.
That's pretty dope.
And then Reagan took that.
That's so hilarious. It'd be great to see a history of just all the ridiculous things that have been put up each time. Yes, President Jimmy Carter installed 32 solar thermal panels on the roof of the White House West Wing on June 20, 1979. They operated until 1996 when the Reagan administration removed them during roof repairs and stored them within a Virginia warehouse. The panels later were community college and for cafeteria use and influenced later White House solar efforts under Bush. Wow, it's pretty cool. It'd be a nice thing to just be able to buy it even in an auction, one of those. Yeah, I've heard there's a lot of celebrities that are fans of yours. Devin Booker, Pink, musician Sydney Sweeney. She's probably got a set of loans on her, I bet. What is that like? Have you had celebrities reach out to you? Has there been like an interesting person, one of them wanting you to come up, like a private,
a secret thing? You know, I call it that you got into weird stuff. I'm famous. It's a secret. And I live in the 70s. That's what I told you. That's it. So it's about doing the work, right? It's one thing to tell people these things. You can't just like read it once, do it once, move on, right? It's like a diet. You think you're going to eat one little salad throughout the day, and then maybe French fries for the rest of the day, and thinking, oh, I'm eating salad, I'm going to go. We're breathing all the time, right? And so you should be breathing in a way that is conducive to most unsexy thing to talk about is normal breathing, but I'm here to tell you, if you really want to help yourself become a normal breather, you can do some of that breath work, but I promise you, once you become a normal breather, you can do that breath work in different places. I never dreamed of it.
Let's go. Little long narnia, homie. I'm ready. Ready for that. There's this kind of phenomenon where it's like sometimes when I finally sit and take a breath, it feels like I haven't breathed or breathed or whatever for months sometimes, you know, for you know that feeling like oh, I finally got a breath, and it's only like what's happened in our lives has made it so that we've gotten so far away from it.
Well, I think you can force yourself into pausing and resetting your breathing, and you can force yourself through yawning or sighing. So when you are not aware of your breath and when you are just caught in these negative unconscious habits, it gets so bad that your body needs to reset. So what does it do? Unintentional sign. It forces you to be like, let's start over. Do a little better this time. It's like, trying out for acting, trying out for play or whatever. It's like, okay, we're doing a different take in a recording.
He's like, your lungs remind you, hey brother, we're down here.
But you can take advantage of it. It doesn't always happen. So you can set an alarm. Just a little bell go off on your phone 3 times a day, 5 times a day, 10 times a day. That bell goes off. It's just a moment where you have to stop what you're doing to be like, check it on my breathing. It takes a second to just go, I'm going to do an intentional sigh. So when that bell goes off, follow me with this one. It's easier than the last thing. Just I promise you. The bell goes off. Just stop what you're doing. Take an inhale. Hold. Take an inhale. Hold. Take an inhale. Let that calm you. Let that calm you. Breathe in. Take an inhale. Softly. Let it out. Hold. Take an inhale. Inhale. Silent exhale.
Right on.
You just reset your respiratory patterns, right? And I think you can.
We're back.
You have how long did that take? 15 seconds? You can do this on a flight, you can do it on the train, you can do it in your car, and it allows you to start again. So what I've found is a lot of people have asked, they said, where do I start? Set those alarms, do 10 of them a day. Check in on this. And if you do enough of these, if you go back to breathing, after you've reset it, go back to breathing, that 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, don't exaggerate it. It's soft. I should be able to watch you breathing, right? It's really subtle, really soft. This will become your default. And if this becomes your default, I'm telling you, it changes a lot of things.
You gotta start cooking.
You could start hooking. You could start sleeping.
No, cooking. I mean, you're gonna cook. You're gonna be rolling.
I thought you said hooking.
Oh, no.
That this could get you out on the street. So children, he said cooking. Cooking.
I just saw
figurative and literal language. You can go to the kitchen, make something healthy.
Yeah, or just get your cooking in your body. You're making something healthy in your own life.
Do not do that and go out hooking.
No, do not go out hooking. Take me through some other ailments that breath work can help us with, that focusing on our breathing can help us eliminate or solve, or can help fight. And then, how about ADHD? Take me down some of that, because I've heard you talk about it a lot.
Yeah, so this is something I learned after the book was published years ago. And I kept hearing this from people in the airway space, from different doctors, different dentists. They said, no one's paying attention to this. I didn't discover it. I spent 5 years researching, writing the book. I didn't discover it. I thought I covered everything. I didn't. So I was able to revise the hardcover for the paperback, which is out. I include this version.
It's in the new revision.
Yeah, it's in the new revision, because, and it's something I try to talk about every single talk I do. I want to talk about this because it's so important. Nobody's talking about it. And I'm so tired of getting these letters from parents. I do these talks, right? These letters.